The stars above Nova Citadel shimmered like silver dust. Captain Mira Solis stepped out of her shuttle, her boots pressing against the smooth glass-like floor of the Citadel's Grand Hall. Around her, delegates from 100 worlds moved through the vast corridors, their colorful robes and high-tech armor catching the light. Mira wore Earth's official uniform, plain, dark, and unthreatening. A small Earth emblem rested over her heart. She kept her posture relaxed but alert, her dark eyes scanning the crowd. She knew what most of them thought. Earth was polite, peaceful, and powerless. Captain Solis, a smooth voice called. Mira turned to see Envoy Talon, Earth's chief diplomat, walking toward her. He looked nervous, adjusting the collar of his formal jacket. "They're already mocking us," Talon whispered as he reached her side, laughing at how small and soft humanity has become. Mira offered a small, cold smile. "Let them laugh," she said. "Politeness is not weakness." They moved together into the main assembly chamber, a huge, circular room with towering crystal pillars. In the center stood the council throne, where the supreme warlord Vrax Thorn waited. His thick, scaled armor gleamed. His yellow eyes followed every movement like a predator sizing up prey. As Mira and Talon took their seats, Vrax rose. His voice filled the hall, deep and commanding. "Today," Vrax announced, "we welcome Earth, a small world clinging to its old dreams of freedom." The delegates chuckled. Mira stayed silent, her face calm. Talon shifted uncomfortably beside her. Vrax continued, "The Assembly offers Earth protection. In exchange, Earth must accept our terms. Surrender your defenses. Surrender your independence." The room buzzed with murmured approval. Most expected Earth to bow its head and submit. Mira stood. She felt every eye lock onto her. "Earth thanks the Assembly for its offer," she said clearly. Her voice carried across the chamber. "But Earth remains free. We will stand with our allies, but we will not kneel." A ripple of surprise moved through the hall. Whispers filled the air. Some looked amused, others looked angry. Vrax's smile turned sharp. "Be careful, Captain," he said, voice low and dangerous. "A blade hidden in a smile is still a blade." Mira bowed slightly. "Earth remembers that warlord." As Mira and Talon left the hall, Talon hissed under his breath, "You just signed our death warrant." "Maybe," Mira said. She touched the small communicator hidden under her sleeve. It pulsed once. Earth's defense corps was listening. She smiled to herself. Earth had been polite long enough. The halls of Nova Citadel buzzed with tension. News of Earth's refusal spread fast. Some found it amusing. Others saw it as foolish. But no one took Earth seriously. Captain Mira Solis stood by the wide windows of her assigned quarters, looking out at the endless city below. Ships zipped through the sky. Lights flickered like stars trapped in glass. Mira's mind stayed sharp and focused. A knock sounded at the door. Talon entered, face pale. "You need to hear this," he said quickly, holding out a small holopad. Mira tapped it. Virus's voice boomed from the device. "Earth's refusal is noted," he growled. "Their future will be corrected." The message ended. Nothing more needed to be said. "They're planning an attack," Talon said, his voice tight. Mira nodded. "Of course they are. They think we're weak," Talon whispered. "They think they can crush us before we can even react." Mira turned away from the window. "They are wrong." She moved to the communication console and opened a private channel. Her message was simple. "Initiate Phase 1, Defense Corps to high alert." Far away, orbiting Earth and hidden bases across the solar system, silent alarms began to flash. Crews snapped into action. Weapons long kept secret powered up for the first time in years. Mira closed the channel and faced Talon. "Earth has prepared for this. They just don't know it yet." Talon shook his head. "It's a dangerous game you're playing." Mira's eyes hardened. "It's not a game. It's survival." Later that evening, Earth's delegation was summoned again to the assembly chamber. This time, Virus didn't bother hiding his contempt. Standing tall on the council throne, he pointed a clawed finger toward Mira. Earth has one final chance, he announced. Swear loyalty. Disband your fleets, accept the Assembly's rule, or be destroyed. The room fell silent, waiting for Mira's answer. Mira stepped forward. She spoke simply. Earth will not bow. A roar of laughter and outrage filled the chamber. Delegates shouted, some pounding their fists. To them, Earth was a joke refusing to know its place. Virus leaned forward, sneering. Then you have chosen death. Mira didn't flinch. She turned and walked out, every step steady and sure. Outside the chamber, Talon caught up with her. You realize what you've done? He hissed. Mira nodded. Yes, I've given Earth permission to defend itself. Above them, hidden among the stars, Earth's fleets began to move, quiet as shadows, sharp as knives. The galaxy would soon learn. Earth's politeness had an end. The stars around Earth's solar system glittered peacefully, but beneath that calm something stirred. Hidden deep in Earth's orbit, cloaked defense corps came alive. Ships that once looked like harmless cargo vessels shifted, panels sliding back to reveal railguns, plasma cannons, and stealth drones. On the moon's dark side, long-buried missile silos powered up, their targeting systems locking onto distant coordinates. Earth's true strength had always been its patience, but now patience was over. Captain Mira Solis stood in her quarters aboard the diplomatic cruiser Everlight. She watched the latest reports flash across her holoscreen. Blockades confirmed. Earth's trade routes seized. Minor colonies under attack. Casualties reported. Her jaw tightened. A quiet chime rang at her door. Talon entered, carrying a grim look. They're moving fast, he said. Vrax isn't waiting for formal war declarations. He's treating us like prey. Mira nodded. He thinks it will be easy. Talon's hands shook slightly. Can we really stop them? Mira touched her communicator. Her voice was low but full of steel. Defense Corps execute Phase 2. Across space, Earth's secret fleets moved. Ships that had traveled among the stars as peaceful explorers now revealed their true purpose. Stealth bombers cloaked themselves in shadow, aiming for enemy carriers. Drone swarms, silent and deadly, began slipping past enemy radars. Mira turned back to Talon. We don't need to outnumber them, she said. We just need to hit them where it hurts. Meanwhile, in orbit around the planet Centaur Prime, Warlord Vrax sat aboard his flagship, Oblivion's Fist. His commanders reported Earth's trade collapse. They spoke of colonies falling easily. They praised his brilliant tactics. Vrax listened, smug. They resist, but weakly, one of his generals said. Soon, Earth will beg for mercy. Vrax laughed. They are already defeated. They just don't know it yet. But even as he spoke, a warning light blinked on his console. Interference. A junior officer stammered. Sir, we're detecting strange movements near the blockade fleets. Investigate, Vrax barked, dismissing it. He had no idea the blade had already been drawn, and it was aimed straight at his throat. Back on Everlight, Mira stood tall on the command bridge. Earth's emblem shone on her chest. Brighter now, her crew waited for her word. She spoke clearly. Prepare for counterstrike. Earth had been silent. Earth had been patient. Now Earth would show its teeth. The darkness of space erupted in flashes of blue and white. Earth's hidden forces struck fast and hard. Across the blockade lines, disguised cargo ships unfolded into deadly battleships. Their weapons glowed hot as they launched precision attacks. Stealth drones slipped through enemy shields and tore apart communication hubs. Gravity disruptors pulled enemy ships into deadly collisions. The Dravix fleets, once calm and confident, now scrambled in panic. Aboard the Everlight, Mira Solis stood at the center of the command bridge. The battle reports poured in. Enemy flagship disabled, a tech officer said. Blockade stations collapsing, another added. Minimal losses on our side, someone else reported. Mira nodded once. Good, keep pushing. Talon stood beside her, eyes wide with shock. "I had no idea we had this kind of power," he whispered. "Earth's strength was never gone," Mira said. "We just didn't show it, until now." She sent another coded message. "Initiate Phase 3. Target primary enemy supply lines." Within minutes, Earth's strike teams severed the Dravix fleet's fuel and supply routes. Without energy and support, the enemy ships floated helplessly, easy targets for Earth's second wave of attacks. Meanwhile, aboard Oblivion's Fist, chaos ruled. Vrax stormed through the command deck, roaring orders. "Where are my reinforcements?" he demanded. "Cut off, warlord," a trembling officer answered. "Then fight harder," Vrax bellowed. But no amount of shouting could stop what was happening. His mighty fleets, so confident hours ago, were being torn apart by an enemy he thought was too weak to matter. For the first time, doubt crept into Vrax's heart. He had underestimated Earth, and now he was paying for it. On the Everlight, Mira watched the enemy's ships drift into ruins. She didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. War was not a thing to enjoy. She turned to her crew. "Prepare Phase 4. Push toward Nova Citadel." The team responded with sharp, disciplined movements. Talon looked at her, awe in his voice. "You planned all of this?" Mira gave a small, grim nod. "We hoped we'd never need it, but we always prepared for it." Earth's politeness had shielded a blade sharper than any in the galaxy, and now that blade was cutting deep. Earth's forces moved through space like a silent storm. Everywhere they went, the enemy crumbled. At first, the Dravix thought it was a trick. Ships, so small, so simple-looking, couldn't possibly be this dangerous. But Earth's technology wasn't about size. It was about precision. Stealth drones hacked enemy systems. Gravity weapons ripped ships apart without firing a shot. AI-guided missiles found weak spots no living pilot could ever see. The galaxy watched in shock as Earth, once seen as peaceful and harmless, unleashed a strength no one had imagined. On the command bridge of the Everlight, Mira Solis listened as the latest reports came in. Enemy fleets routed in Sector 9. Nova Citadel defenses weakening. Dravix reinforcements failing to regroup. Mira gave clear, simple orders. Maintain pressure. No mercy for military targets. Protect civilians. She stood tall and calm, but inside her chest, her heart beat heavily. This was not a war Earth wanted, but it was a war Earth would finish. Talon moved to her side, his face pale. "The assembly is in chaos," he said. "They're afraid. Some want to surrender already." Mira nodded. "They should be afraid." Above Nova Citadel, Earth's fleets formed a perfect blockade. The once invincible city, protected by the assembly's strongest armies, now shook under Earth's weapons. Inside his flagship, Warlord Vrax watched helplessly as his command centers fell one by one. His advisors begged him to retreat, but Vrax's pride refused. "They're only humans," he growled. "They can't." A sharp explosion rocked his ship. The lights flickered. Warning sirens screamed. Vrax grabbed the nearest officer by the collar. "How did this happen?" The officer could only shake his head. "We underestimated them, Warlord. They hid their power." Vrax threw the officer aside and stomped toward the war room. He slammed his fist on the table. "Prepare for one last assault," he roared. "We will not be beaten by a primitive world." But deep down Vrax knew the truth. The Dravix had already lost. Back aboard the Everlight, Mira stared at the image of Nova Citadel on her hollow screen. Fires burned along the horizon. The assembly's banners hung torn and dirty. "This is their last chance," Mira said quietly. She opened a communication channel. "This is Captain Mira Solis of Earth," she said. Voice clear and cold. "We offer surrender. Resistance will be crushed." Silence answered her at first. Then static. Then a final angry reply. "Never," Vrax snarled. Mira closed the channel without a word. She turned to her crew. "Prepare final assault." Earth had been polite. Earth had been patient. Now Earth would be victorious. Nova Citadel was a city under siege. Fires lit the sky. Towers that once touched the stars now leaned and crumbled. Earth's fleets hovered above like silent judges, weapons charged and ready. Captain Mirasalis stood at the front of the Everlight's bridge, eyes locked on the burning city below. "Target their last stronghold," she ordered calmly. "Non-lethal strikes if possible," she added. "We're not here to destroy civilians. Only the ones who refuse peace." Her officers nodded and moved quickly. Deep inside Nova Citadel's fortress, Warlord Vrax Thorn prepared for his last stand. His armor was cracked. His army was shattered. His pride was bleeding. Still, he refused to surrender. He stormed into the central command chamber where a few remaining loyal generals waited. "We will launch a counterattack," Vrax roared. "We will break their lines." One of the generals hesitated. "Warlord, we have no more heavy weapons. Our ships are down. Our soldiers are surrendering across the city." "Then I'll do it myself," Vrax snarled. Grabbing his plasma blade, Vrax charged toward the landing fields. His eyes burned with rage and shame. Mira received a report as she prepared the final landing. "Vrax is refusing to surrender," Talon said. "He's moving to attack our ground forces personally." Mira's face stayed calm. "Then I'll meet him." Talon looked alarmed. "Captain, he's dangerous. Let the strike teams handle it." "No," Mira said, her voice steady. "This ends face to face." She armed herself with a simple sidearm and a shield generator. No heavy armor, no dramatic weapons, just a soldier doing her duty. She led a small landing team down to the citadel. On the ruined steps of Nova Citadel's main square, Mira and Vrax faced each other. The air between them crackled with tension. Fires burned around them. The rubble of the assembly's pride lay scattered underfoot. Vrax roared and charged, swinging his plasma blade with brutal strength. Mira moved swiftly, calm, focused. She dodged the wild swings, using her shield to block and her sidearm to strike carefully, precisely. Vrax fought like a cornered beast. Mira fought like a professional. It didn't take long. With a final move, Mira disarmed him. His plasma blade clattered to the broken stone floor. Breathing heavily, Vrax glared up at her. "You were supposed to be weak," he growled. Mira's voice was cold and final. "You mistook kindness for weakness," she said. "You mistook patience for fear. You were wrong." She activated a containment field around him. Vrax struggled, but it was over. Mira turned to her team. "Signal the assembly. The war is finished. Earth had won." Back aboard the Everlight, Mira stood before her crew. "We will rebuild the assembly," she said. "This time with respect and equality. No one will mistake Earth again." The stars beyond the windows looked different now, not because they had changed, but because Earth had. The great hall of Nova Citadel stood quiet. Its shattered pillars and scorched walls were being rebuilt by teams from Earth and other worlds. The banners of the old assembly had been taken down. In their place, a new symbol rose, a circle of stars, equal and unbroken. Captain Mirasalis stood at the center of it all. Leaders from many worlds gathered around her. Some bowed their heads in respect. Others simply stood in silence, knowing a new era had begun. Mira addressed them clearly, her voice steady. "Earth did not come here to conquer," she said. "We came to remind you what true strength is. Not domination, not fear. Strength is respect. Strength is unity." She paused, letting her words sink in. "The assembly will be rebuilt," Mira continued. "But it will be different. Every world will have a voice. Every world will stand free." The leaders nodded, some hesitantly, some with relief. After centuries of Dravik's rule, they welcomed change, even if it came from a world they once ignored. Later, Mira stood alone on the balcony, overlooking the new city. Talon joined her, holding 2 cups of steaming tea. He handed one to her with a small smile. "You changed the galaxy," he said. Mira shook her head. "Earth changed the galaxy. I only reminded them who we are." They sipped their tea in silence for a moment, watching the workers below, the ships above, and the stars beyond. Talon chuckled softly. "Do you think they'll ever dare underestimate Earth again?" Mira smiled. A rare small smile. Let them try, she said. High above Earth's fleets remained on quiet patrol, a silent promise to any who might forget the lessons of this war. Humanity had been polite. Humanity had been patient. But when pushed too far, humanity had shown a side no one would ever dare challenge again. Earth now stood not just as a member of the galaxy, but as its guardian.